What is the purpose of a motorbike? Let me get off the bike first. The heroic Harley in all its glory. What a beautiful ride it is today. Well, just into winter, bright sunny day, cold as ice in the air, but it's cool, it's crisp, it's sunny, and the roads are dry. Perfect riding weather, I'd say. But in an ever-changing world of finance and disposable incomes and all that kind of stuff, many people would say, well, what's the point of motorcycles? What do you actually use them for, apart from the obvious about enjoying the ride? Do they have a place in modern mobility? What's the great benefit of them? Well, I could give you 100, but let's just start with one. Outside of the sheer enjoyment of riding, they are congestion easing. So basically, you saw I'm riding through traffic here and there's lots of traffic. If I was in a car, I'd be caught up in that traffic, whereas a motorbike would just go around the outside of it and or filter through. Well, where I am anyway, and most parts of the world, you can filter through, easing congestion, and better for the planet as well. Less emissions, being chucked out whilst you're waiting around. And all those do-gooders out there, blocking roads and protesting against oil, well, basically all you're doing is creating congestion. Guess what? That actually adds to emissions in the atmosphere, so you basically shoot yourselves in the foot. Okay, so the second point really is, well, yes, it's congestion easing, but it's time management as well. You can just get in and out of places a lot quicker on a bike than you can do on a car. Even on a bus or a train, this is going to be so much quicker for you because you're not having to stick to any timetables. You just come and go as you please. Now for me, that is ultimate freedom. So the question is whether big motorcycles have a place anymore, and that's a good question because of the price of these things now. Actually, in many cases they're a lot more expensive than cars to buy, and in many cases they are as expensive to run as well. So there could be a bit of a false economy when you're talking about running costs and actual purchase costs. But when you're talking about low powered motorcycles, urban motorcycles, electric motorcycles, well, actually they're a lot cheaper to buy, certainly a lot cheaper to run. So it kind of makes sense. It works on so many different levels. But the big bikes these days, that's a good debate to have. Look at that, flaking paint. That's not good. The heroic Harley is looking a bit worse for wear as well. A good wash and a bit of touch-up paint required. Obviously there, and a little bit there as well. Oh dear. But seriously, the actual price of these things these days is getting more and more. And also you've got to factor in equipment, accessories, that kind of thing. Because once you start on the path of getting into motorcycles, let's face it, we all like to spend a little bit of extra money on them as well. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I don't have to keep on reminding myself why I love riding motorcycles so much, but I do have to catch myself at times and wonder what the actual benefit is, and then it kind of slaps me in the face and say, wake up, wake up. It's not just about enjoyment, it's just about practicality in this modern world, especially if you live in a congested area. They just make sense. Yes, you're open to the environment. Yes, it can be cold. Yes, you can get wet. But just like cycling has its net benefits as well to mobility and everything, certainly motorcycles do, but let's say even much smaller motorcycles and scooters, electric scooters, petrol scooters, whatever it is, there's a net benefit there to not only yourself, but also in terms of management, congestion, better for the planet if you want to go that far as well. Yeah, so overall it's just great. And going to the front of the queue in a traffic jam, always a winner, always a winner. Now, I can never understand places in the world, let's say the United States and certain states in the United States, where they don't allow motorcycles to filter. I just don't understand, you know, why don't you allow lane splitting and filtering? It's just bonkers to me and to many other people around the world that you can't do it. It's just a no-brainer. You know, on the city streets, on the motorways, the freeways, highways, whatever you want to call them, if there's a traffic jam or traffic congestion, you can zip through and you'd be on your way. So much better. I had a quick check at some brand new motorcycle prices the other day, some of the big ones, let's say, if I wanted to trade this in for next year, and we're talking 20 to 30,000 pounds, depending on the bike you get, of course, for something, let's say, similar or the next stage up from this. 20 to 30,000 pounds, that's just bonkers, isn't it? And we've kind of got ourselves into this situation where we've been buying more and more expensive bikes and cars and everything, really. And maybe the time of this size of bike is at an end. Maybe the time is for smaller bikes to rule the roost, not only in our minds but also in our hearts, as it were. There's definitely been a movement in the motorcycle preferences in the last couple of years, I would say. It's not so much to have bigger and faster, it's actually to come down in size, come down in price, as it were, but certainly size and weight and size of engine power as well. There definitely seems to be a movement, not only in adventure bikes, but also in big cruiser bikes and tourers as well. Not the big heavy lumps, but maybe smaller, more compact, liquid cooled variants. Maybe that will continue as well. Where the battle lines were once drawn on the major highways with the big American brands, for example, well, maybe they're taking the fight to a new set of streets. Those urban streets with smaller CC bikes. Who knows? It could happen. But food for thought, at least. Going smaller might be the way to go. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have a reduced enjoyment of riding. It's just a different type of ride, and also a ride that's probably more beneficial for everyone. But in saying that, I'm going to go ride my heroic Harley with its gargantuan engine, and I'm going to ride off into the sunset that way, because it is a setting sun. Winter rides on clear days and a low sun, especially towards the late afternoon when it's really coming down. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Anyway, listen, so I thought I'd bring this to you in a bit of urban decay. Over there's a couple of graffiti artists, very talented too. Anyway, food for thought. Let us know your thoughts on that, smaller motorcycles, value of the big ones, and what motorcycling means to you. And is it purely for the enjoyment, or is it just a more practical way to be mobile, get out and about, do what you need to do, and then just crack on with your day? Right, let me leave the street gallery here and head on out, and I'll catch you again. Ta-da.